Hello and welcome to 5 Tech. This is Abbas. In this lesson, we are going to talk about VPC, that is Virtual Private Cloud, where a provision, logically isolated section of Amazon Web Services cloud where you can launch AWS resources in virtual network that you defined. That means the instances, whatever you launch, or the resources, they all are parked in VPC. And VPC is the main access to your data center, because you are not given a direct access to a data center. Whatever happens, it happens through VPC. That is why VPC falls under network. What exactly happens in VPC? Let's see. And there are options where you can use a default VPC, or you can create your own VPC with whatever requirement you have that is subject to requirement. In this, you can have a complete control over your virtual network environment, including own IP address range, creating subnets, configuration of route tables or route tables, and network gateway. You can use both. There are options of using IPv4 and IPv6. So let's see what exactly happens in the VPC. You can create public facing subnet for your web server that has an access to the internet, and place a backend system such as database or application servers in a private facing subnet with no internet access. That means it is completely secured. It is used for private purpose or within the organization only, and that also has a limited access based on the access given to people or the IP ranges that you set XYZ. That we'll see later about it. You can leverage multi-layers of security, including security groups and network access control list, that is NACL, to help control access to Amazon EC2 instances in each subnet. Now let's get back to the let's go to the console and see how exactly VPC looks like. We can create your own VPC, and what are the attributes or the features that we can apply. So we are on VPC. Out here you can see this comes under networking and content delivery. So VPC, we just click on this and it takes you to the dashboard where you can create your own VPC. So on the left hand side, virtual private cloud. So you have your VPC. You're just supposed to click on this and you get an option to create. It's very simple. Just go out here, click on create VPC. You can give a name whatever you want. So I can give new VPC, and CIDR block you can allocate, which is a clear thing out here, 10.0.0.0/16. CIDR stands for classless inter-domain routing. Those who want to know about this can refer to my IP address session. So tenancy out here, you have a default and dedicated tenancy. So let's understand what is default and dedicated tenancy. You need to understand small things, because later you may have confusions or you may land up with something. Let's look at this slide, and again we'll go back to the lab session. So default and dedicated tenancy. Dedicated tenancy ensures all EC2 instances that are launched in a VPC run on a hardware that's dedicated to a single customer or a single client. Instead, they can use the AWS CLI/SDK, that is command line interface/software development kit, to ensure that all new instances in the VPC are launched with default tenancy. See, Amazon says very clear, you don't worry about any thing that you create. You concentrate on application. So you have a default tenancy through which you can park your resources and proceed. So you don't have to worry about creating a new VPC, but at times it is required. It's pure subject to requirement. I hope I made things clear out here with what is default and dedicated tenancy. So let's go with default and just say create. It takes just 2 seconds, and this is the VPC ID. Okay, you click on this and you can see the new VPC which has been created with this ID and it is available, and this is the IP address that we allocated. After you allocate a name to this particular VPC that you need to have in mind, for which you're going to allocate a subnet. So when you click on subnet, it's an easy option. Just go to create subnet. Again, you need to give a name to the subnet. I'll say new subnet VPC. This is the name I can give. Now the VPC that you have created just few seconds back, or we have created, out here you can go and see I just gave new VPC and I click to which I'm going to connect the subnet. Availability zone is an important factor. If you don't want a preference, no problem, but you can have for your reference. So Asia Pacific South 1A, I choose this and I allocate this as an availability zone. And out here you have an option which has been allocated the CIDR block, and let me click on this. I'll take another CIDR block for this, and the VPCI CIDR block is this, and this is another option that I have. So I just got to go create a subnet and it is done. Wait for some time. So this is subnet. In actions, it's very important to see actions. You can delete the subnet that you have allocated, create a flow log, modify and edit IPv6 because we have used IPv4. It's not displaying. If we choose IPv6, you're going to have an option. You can edit network access control list association, edit route or route table association, share subnet. These are the options that you have in subnet. So subnet part is done. I'll just explain a bit about what is subnet. A subnet is a range of IP addresses in your VPC. You can launch AWS resources into a specific subnet. Use a public subnet for resources that must be connected to internet, that is where you face the external world, and a private subnet for resources that won't be connected to internet for a security purpose, and it's purely for internal and for private purpose of an organization. There are certain features and benefits of your VPC. Multiple connectivity options, in the sense, connect directly to the internet, that is public subnet. You can launch instances into a public accessible subnet where they can send and receive traffic from the internet. Okay. VPC to DC, that is data center. Connect securely to your corporate data center. All traffic to and from instances in your VPC can be routed to your corporate data center over an industry standard encrypted IP security hardware VPN connection. Earlier I just said you are not given a direct access to a data center. A user and the data center are basically connected through VPC. So it's like VPC, as I said in the initial talk of mine, that VPC is network. So VPC is in between a user and the data center. This is the first part of the video. We're going to do VPC in 3 sessions totally. So this is the first part. Please go through my second video to see the further where we're going to teach about or work on route table. Thank you very much.